Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's October 14th, 2018, and the last few days we've had some high winds and some consistent rain, although light, not heavy rainfall at all, but we've had some pretty consistent rain during the daytime. Therefore, I wasn't getting out the cameras or trying to record anything outside. I had recently posted a video where I'm out here right now by Pond 4. And I had posted a video recently about the removing of a large stump from behind me, and then I posted another video showing that I had brought in, transplanted this Japanese red maple behind me and put hostas all around the base of it. That video had not gone live yet when Mars rover had made a comment and saying, geez, you know, you could really put in a nice water feature in this area where the stump was removed. It was a really nice, 5.5 foot deep hole, and certainly I could do it. I've got power out here. I could easily have put in a pump feature as well. And the other suggestion was bringing in some evergreen to give more color to the area as well. And I'm going to move here so I can show a bit more. And that video had not, what I'm going to show you now had a lot of it had already been done by the time that I got the comment from Mars rover, but great idea. I did go ahead and transplant a couple of blue spruce globosa plants here. Also at the other end down there, I don't know if you can see it, there's another evergreen as well, and I've got a rose bush my daughter had given to Thea for a Mother's Day present as well. So we're going to have lots of nice colors right in here. So where did all these plants come from? Around the outer block wall, I decided to put some of these beautiful plants. I have Japanese red maples there, the blue spruce globosa plants planted around there, spirea, burning bushes, a whole variety of different beautiful plants that I had planted around there. And what I discovered over time was it was so much work to try and keep the weeds under control, because these would stick out, be little outpouchings as these plants got larger, and the weeds would grow up in amongst the root balls of these various plants, and I started getting bindweed in there and all, and it was so challenging to keep the area clean around the block wall that's the margin of that whole pond. So I decided this year to take and relocate these plants to different spots on the property, places where we can still enjoy them, but try to decrease the amount of extra effort, where it'd be much easier for me to just mow up close to the block wall and not have to worry about these beautiful plants being completely overwhelmed by the weeds growing up through them as well, because we had poison ivy growing up through the globosas. And remember, this place is a sanctuary for all the various wildlife, so we have so many bird nests in all of these different plants, and they're depositing seeds as all the birds are consuming so many of the different seed-bearing plants, and they're developing weeds growing up as well. So that's the reason why I decided to remove all of these beautiful plants from around the margin of the pond, because as I get older, the more I can appreciate that I'm a very busy person and I don't need extra work for me as well. And I did think about putting in a water feature here as well, but I have other small water features, and I really enjoy the natural features that we've created here on site that are self-managing to a great extent, not completely, but they're the ones that I enjoy the most and the wildlife deal with, whereas these small water features, which we've had a couple of in the past, they get to be more of a chore, more of a burden, something that I have to deal with at the ends of the season. Even when we've had the deep ones where we don't have to close them off for the winter time, where the fish do well down deep inside of the system. They're just contained systems that are not natural enough for me at this point in my life. I want more things that are less input, less demanding of my time. That way I can do all the rest of the things that are to be done around here on site. So that's about it with the update for this one, for this video. I just thought I'd share that information. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to try and transplant a couple more plants. There's a spirea over on the, there's a couple of spirea plants over around the margin here, and there's another Japanese red maple. So I'm going to see if I can get those transplanted, do some GoPro footage showing that as well here. So let's see if I can get that accomplished. Well, the plantings so far today have been going pretty well. The spirea that I put in by the burning bush and by pond 2 went in very well. The root structure looked great. There were quite a few weeds, lots of goldenrod, ragweed. I can't say that I saw any bindweed in the roots of that plant. That plant I probably could have split up into 2 separate plants. There's a nice natural divide in the center of it. But I've got so many plants to transplant right now, I can always go back and split that one into 2 or 4 different plants. They divide pretty easily, these spirea. As they set out another root, they develop more supportive roots for it, and if you give them a couple of years time, you can just split that main root that extended out initially. So then I came down and dug up the Japanese red maple. Boy, those roots were just like prongs going straight down for the most part. So probably because of all the winds hitting it out of the west in that location, we really do have very high winds over where that was. We get high winds here as well, but I've got a cherry tree right here and some maples right around it that should help to break up, decrease the velocity of the winds as they come through here. There were a fair number of weeds intertwined amongst the roots. One of the main roots, the largest root that went down so deep that I could not dislodge it easily with the spade shovel, and it had already been split, I went ahead and pruned that root and re-pruned it nice and clean once I got it over here before getting it in the ground. I had to go ahead, and because the roots were pretty much straight down, I used a cargo strap to strap it to a couple of trees here while I went ahead and added the compost. Then I was very careful. Whenever I have something where there could be air spaces up underneath the root itself, the soil, because it's so much gravel here, it just falls right out. And it was basically standing on the tips of those roots. That means that what I've got to do is try and take the more compost or soil and shove it right up underneath there and make all of those little air voids disappear and try and fill in every bit of it. This needs to be watered down pretty darn well. It's going to rain tomorrow. Hopefully we get some pretty good rains. We don't have much wood chips left, but I'll try and get this one covered with some wood chips as well. And one of the things I will do is try to wiggle it and get it to push down, get those other roots to push down. One of the challenging things over here, the reason why this is such a high spot is because this is part of the old stone wall, and I didn't take out all of this stone wall because we have such well-established trees going down through the stones, and I would have lost all these trees if I brought it down to ground level. So that Japanese red maple is actually on top of stone wall here. So those roots will work their way down, will probably continue and wrap their way right around the stones down below there. So the important thing, lesson with this one is really making sure that there's no air pockets up underneath. And this is a challenging one when the roots are going straight down like that. So if you found this video of value, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, hit that bell icon if you want to be notified when we post more videos. If you have any questions or want to leave us some comments, your experiences as well, I think that's wonderful. Thanks so much, folks, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye now.